Hey, Screen Magazine, Jenna Mark here, and season 2 of Somebody Somewhere is a wrap, and that was quite the finale. I spoke to co-creators Paul Thurine and Hannah Boss all about that final episode, and they spilled quite the amount of tea. Let's get right to it.
Let's talk about the finale, because there are so many things that happen throughout the season that all come to a halt at the finale, and they're so pivotal. One of which you spoke about, Trisha and Sam's relationship changing. I mean, that moment where Sam's singing as the bride's walking down the aisle and she's crying. Trisha's crying. They started out as enemies and opponents, and now they're like cheerleading each other and supporting each other. And then there's also the Sam and Joel relationship that has that whole moment with the singing and the show. So just that creative process of the whole finale.
Yeah, I love that you pointed out that moment, because I think that I feel like that's a very somebody somewhere moment of the show, that it's not going to be, I think we're like working with characters who don't talk about their feelings well, that don't have that therapy vocabulary. And so that idea that they've gotten to this place and that you just see it in this little moment on the side, that, they don't have to talk about where they are, but you just see the way that she's responding to her sister in an emotional way, and through music, which I think is a big part of the show, and sort of a way that it's maybe easier for these characters to communicate is through music. And so I think I will say that a lot of it, I think for the season finales for both seasons, but especially this one, that music was a really big part of it. And I think that, you want to sort of land in a place that feels satisfying for a season, but also sort of
Give you enough to bounce off if the future gives us one more, God willing. To the TV gods.
Put it out there. Go ahead.
But also, like, I think that like especially the Sam and Joel relationship also is that, like, we treat them like real people, and I think that they go through a real journey this season, and it's left on a little bit of a question mark. But I think also we don't want to force drama between them that wouldn't feel authentic, because they're both sort of, this is a coming of age story for women in her 40s, but they're also grown-ups. And I think that, when you have Hannah and I know this, when you have a really close relationship like this, your feelings can get really hurt by the smallest things. It becomes a heightened thing. So I think that we wanted to really stay within the reality of that world, not try to like force drama between them, but keep it in a real place. And I think that was sort of, we were hoping that we were able to land that. And then also, without giving a spoiler, having a big celebration and having it at the farm, which sort of felt like a nice way to keep Ed, Mike Haggerty's character, sort of present. I think that sort of changed, and we wanted to make sure that, like, we sort of felt his presence throughout the season, especially in that.
Especially because episode 1 has sort of that long scene where she's in his space. It's sort of a beautiful bookend in a way, to sort of have that rebirth and celebration and new, like this new love starting, and this new future for this new couple.
And there's also, speaking of a somebody somewhere moment, I mean, I'm going to give the spoiler because this is going to air after the finale, but the speech, right? When he goes up and makes the speech and he talks about how Mike Haggerty's character saw him for who he was, I feel like that is directly speaking to the Somebody Somewhere fan anywhere in America or anywhere across the world, because that is what gravitates people to the show, right? They feel seen. They feel like they can be who they are and understood for who they are. So how deliberate was that? But also how poignant is that for that to be where this bow kind of ends?
So yeah, I hadn't thought about that moment because we're just so thinking about earlier stuff right now. But, I'm tearing up just thinking about that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Because like,
I didn't mean to make you cry.
No, it's okay. No. But that's the real thing is that, like, Murray and Mike were really close, on set. The farm scene from season 1, them just looking out there and having this heart to heart, like that's who those people were. And then that's who those characters were. So
you don't see shows about those characters, and they're based on real people and real experiences, and I think that people do respond to that. And I think that having that speech, and it's Fred talking about Ed, and it's Murray talking about Mike all at once. And I think that's, yeah, I think that's a great somebody somewhere moment.
All right, well, I appreciate your time. I know you have a hard out, and I had all these technical difficulties here, but we could have spoken for hours. I think you guys are fantastic, and I wish we could have done this in person, but I appreciate your time. Screen Magazine appreciates your time.
Thank you.
And everybody check out the premiere of Somebody Somewhere on April 23rd on HBO.